Hi there, thanks for tuning in again. In this video, I want to share with you a little bit of our Christmas with Dylan this year. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you know I recently shared our Thanksgiving with Dylan, and that actually went really, really well, which was surprising. We weren't really expecting that. Unfortunately, Christmas this year didn't go quite as well as Thanksgiving did. It wasn't the worst Christmas we've had with Dylan, but it wasn't the best that we've had either. So I'll kind of explain that as we go through the video. I have some recordings throughout the day, mostly of Dylan opening his gifts when he was in the mood for that, but I'll kind of explain how the day went and what went well and what didn't this time. But if you're like us and you have an autistic person in your house and you're on winter break right now, hang in there. I know this has been a long one for us. We're about halfway through winter break right now with Dylan, and it's kind of gotten off to a rocky start. We haven't had the best behaviors. We've already had some destructive behaviors, a couple of minor to moderate meltdowns. So it's been a pretty rocky start to our winter break already here. And part of it's just the weather and the activities around this time of the season and the holidays. And so that's just to be expected, unfortunately. But it does make for a long, little over 2 weeks out of school for everybody involved. So I hope you're surviving winter break like we're trying to here as well. So stay tuned and I'll share with you a little bit of our Christmas with Dylan. Okay, so Dylan was with his dad the weekend prior to Christmas and through Christmas morning. So they had their Christmas, and I think for the most part that went pretty well. By the time Christmas morning came, I think I made a mistake, and when I picked up Dylan and we were headed to my grandparents' house, I mentioned to him, trying to prepare him, I mentioned to him that we were going to a Christmas party and there would be food and there would be presents, and trying to get him excited about it, but mentally prepared about where we were going to go. I'll show you a clip here in a little bit later on in the day. I realized that that was probably not a good idea. I didn't think out my words very carefully whenever I tried to mentally prepare him for the activities for the day. But in our family, traditionally, Christmas morning, my grandparents have a brunch at their house. And so that's where we went first thing Christmas morning. And it's not really a good, ideal place for Dylan. He loves to go visit, but on Christmas morning, there's a lot of people in a really pretty small, confined space. And so that doesn't really work very well for Dylan. So we arrived, and Dylan and I probably weren't there more than 15 minutes. Dylan pretty quickly, obviously, got agitated. He tried to sit down and have something to eat. He wasn't tolerant of me taking pictures or recording at all. I could tell by the looks on his faces and his behaviors that he was borderline for having or wanting to have a meltdown. Okay, I'll stop. And within just a few minutes, he started wanting to try to attack his older brother, his 17-year-old brother, either, lunge for him or throw something at him. And so I knew that that was going to go downhill really fast. So I packed him up, and my dad and I went ahead and left. And if you've experienced this before, I'm sure you probably have. It's very frustrating. It's emotional because now you're missing out on time with the family at Christmas, and you want your loved one to enjoy it as well. And when that doesn't work, sometimes the only thing you can do is pack up and leave, change plans. By the time we left, it was kind of a rocky drive home. Of course, he thought he wanted to go places. He wanted food. He wanted to go to the grocery store. Not only was nothing open because it's Christmas Day, but he certainly wasn't in the mood to reliably take him anywhere anyway. So the only option was to come back to my house. So that's what we did, and that's okay. We came back to my house and allowed him to come to a quiet place. It was just me and Dylan and my dad, and Dylan was able to relax, recoup, and try to get his bearings again. And we really just kind of let him do his thing until he got comfortable and was ready to go somewhere. So it took quite a while actually for him to be ready. He finally decided he was ready to go, but not quite go to Grandma Jackie's house. He wanted to go to Grandma and Grandpa's house, which is where we go often, almost every day whenever he's at my house. So we let him transition from my house to Grandma and Grandpa's house around the block. And just, again, let him decide when he's ready to go to Grandma Jackie's house, then we'll go. Then after a little while, all in all, probably about an hour and a half, Dylan decided he was ready to go to Grandma Jackie's house. So we went to Grandma Jackie's house, which thankfully for us is also very close. It's just another few blocks away from my parents' house. And we got to spend some Christmas there. He finally got to open up some of his gifts. So here's some footage of Dylan opening up some of his gifts from Grandma Jackie. Here, turn it over to the other side. There you go. What is it?
Who you going?
Who is that?
Ooh, look at that.
Is that Mario?
He walks good.
Okay, and then after we're at Grandma Jackie's for a little while, then the next thing on the list was to come back to my house and let the kids open the gifts from me. So the next little bit of footage is a little bit of Dylan enjoying some of the gifts that I gave him here at my house. What is it? It's a baby shark shirt. A baby shark shirt. What? Oh, man. Okay. Now I gotta go pick it all up.
No.
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 Who is that?
Mario.
Mario?
Mario. Mario.
Mario.
Mario. Mario.
Set him in that chair.
Chocolate.
Chocolate?
Quick, quick.
Is Walmart open on Christmas?
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's in there, Dylan?
I remember you told me you were going to give me this. Thank you.
Yeah? Okay, here's one more back here.
One more. Here. No. One more.
Yep, one more.
Yeah.
And a baby shark t-shirt.
Now you don't see the baby shark t-shirt. Baby shark t-shirt. Baby shark t-shirt.
Yeah, look at that. Put it by your baby shark sweater. Oh, well, Dylan. I love you too, sweetie. Leave the piece. Leave the pieces. Because I'm going to read the directions.
Oh.
But I could just...
take the piano, but not the pieces.
Why?
Honey, because you can't. I'll lose it. I need to keep it right here by the directions for a minute. I know. Well, don't do it one-handed. So put the other stuff down. Okay.
Oh. Uh-huh. Oh.
What is it?
Aw. Daddy shark.
A daddy shark?
A daddy shark.
Cool, man.
Cool, man.
Is that it?
That it.
And a Curious George.
Curious.
Okay, so we kind of wrapped up the day back at my parents' house, which we probably on any other normal day would have been back over there anyway, so that was okay with Dylan. We went back over there and we opened some of the gifts for each other at my parents' house. Dylan got to open up the gifts from my mom and dad.
Yeah, these are double.
Double A. Sorry.
Here you go. And there's 4 slots, I think.
How many is it?
Four.
Three or
Four double A.
four.
Triple. The skinny ones.
Look at him.
Did you
Look
get
at
him?
him. He sees
Andrew,
it.
did you get him one of those great big minis that come?
Man, Caitlin likes that.
No, I'm trying to put the batteries first.
Baby shark.
This is gonna get old.
And then, like I mentioned, I believe at the beginning of the video, I started off the day mentioning to Dylan that we were going to a Christmas party, hoping that that would get him prepared for where we were going first up on the agenda for Christmas Day. Unfortunately, I had forgotten that the word party for Dylan always makes him think that we're going to go swimming. Because Dylan loves swimming so much, every time we have a birthday party for him, it always involves swimming. So we have to be really careful about saying the word party and not making him think that we're going to go swimming. And Dylan also can get very OCD, I guess maybe is the term. If there's a different term for this, let me know what that is. But he gets very stuck on an idea or a thought, something that he wants to do, and especially if he's not in a particularly good mood in the first place. So here's a little bit of footage of Dylan. I was trying to be discreet in taking this footage of Dylan being obsessed with the idea of going swimming. And you'll notice that Dylan, when he does this, he repeats it over and over and over and over and over. And he gets very agitated if you don't answer him or answer him back. But then answering him doesn't give him any peace either, whether it's a positive or a negative answer back to him. It doesn't give him any peace. He'll just repeat it over and over and over until he forgets about it, or you can distract him, or whatever that might be.
Grandpa.
No,
Key.
no, not at Christmas time.
Grandpa.
No, there's no swimming pools open. They're all closed and locked.
Grandpa.
They're all closed, honey.
Grandpa.
They're all closed.
Grandpa.
Swimming pools are all closed and locked.
Grandpa.
Not today.
Christmas.
Yep, not at Christmas time. No swimming pools at Christmas.
Grandpa. Grandpa.
No swimming pools at Christmas time.
Grandpa.
And you can't see me, but in this clip, I'm actually discreetly recording him, but I'm not sitting facing him. I found that it doesn't help to give him a lot of attention. And so I try to, in this particular case, let me clarify, it doesn't help to give him a lot of attention. So I wasn't facing him and I wasn't looking directly at him. I was trying not to answer him with a response every time he said he wanted to go to a pool. And yet I was trying not to get him agitated by just completely ignoring him either. So if you've seen this before and you have any tips on how to deal with this particular behavior, please share them with me in the comments, because this is something I'm not sure that I've found a real reliable method for working through this with Dylan. Okay, so that was a little bit of our experience over Christmas Day and our activities. So generally not bad. We did not get to partake in all of the family activities for the day, unfortunately, but we did some, so that wasn't a whole loss. And for the most part, the rest of the day ended reasonably well. The next day or two were pretty rocky again. We had off and on either very happy, almost hyperactive behavior, all the way to just mediocre behavior, all the way to a couple of episodes of some very destructive behavior. And so I'm hoping that's just the sign of winter break. We're about halfway through a combination of winter break and all the activities and the busyness of the Christmas traditions. I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. Again, but thanks for watching this video, and please leave your comments and feedbacks here in the comment section of this particular video. I'd love to have them. Really appreciate that interaction, and any tips and suggestions you might have, please share those as well. But like always, if you haven't subscribed to my channel and you'd like to keep following, be sure and click the subscribe button there, and I will link a couple of other recommended videos here that you might want to watch to learn more about us, or to check out some other topics that I've put videos up on. So until next time, I wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas and a very blessed and Happy New Year.